Hi, I'm Mike Stish, contributor editor for Hackaday.com, and I'm here today with Bob Baddeley. Bob started off with a hobby project and really turned it into a business. It's kind of an interesting story, especially the road to get there. So I think we should start off, Bob, with the hobby project itself. Tell us a little bit about what made you start and how long you spent developing it.
So it started in 2006 at a New Year's party in the garage of a friend. And we were playing table tennis. We couldn't disagree over whose turn it was to serve or what the score was. It was a mess. And we were all engineers, so we thought there must be a solution to the problem. We started building a prototype. We got LEDs, we got a microcontroller, we got all the parts, and then we got involved in our day jobs, and it kind of fell by the wayside for a few years. Then about a year and a half ago, I decided to pick it up and pursue it a lot more aggressively, and I made this prototype here to kind of demonstrate the idea. Later I built this prototype, which is more of the manufacturable one that I can take to market soon.
Sure. So it's a scoreboard, and you started Portable Scores,
Right.
which is a company that is getting started through something called the Startup Accelerator. Is that right?
The name of the program is Haxlr8r. It's spelled weird. It's Haxlr8r. And the goal is it's the first hardware startup accelerator in China. So we applied for this program, and they accepted 9 or 10 teams, and we went over to China for 3 months to work on the engineering and the prototyping and tour factories and really understand what it takes to actually manufacture a product in China. So now we're back, and we have demos in San Francisco, and I've launched my Kickstarter program to raise funding to actually do the manufacturing.
Sure. And is this what you took to submit as an applicant for that program?
It is.
Can you kind of go over maybe what you showed them in order to be considered and be part of the program?
Sure. So the prototype started off, we originally were thinking about just scores, but then we decided you could use it for other sports as well. So there are 6 buttons, and the interface was really important to us because looking at other scoreboards, they all have a lot of digits and a lot of controls on them that make it really hard to use. So we wanted something simple but also powerful. So this first mode lets you do 2-player score, and it's really simple. Hold down to reset, and there we go. So the next mode is for table tennis. So the arrow indicates whose turn it is to serve. So after 5 scores, it switches sides. Another mode was for tennis. So it counts 15, 30, 40. And then we got into the timer modes. So this counts up. So you could use this for races or anything where you're timing. And then another mode for countdown timers. And you can preset it to whatever number you want, and it counts down, and once it gets down to 0, there's a buzzer. And we use this in our hackerspace a lot during our monthly meetings, where everyone has 7 minutes to talk, and so we speak for 7 minutes, and then the buzzer goes off, and we're done.
Yeah, I noticed that the other night when I was here, and I really liked it because as a speaker, you know how much time you have left, but also if you're not too into the subject, you know how long you have to endure. But it really caught my eye, and then when you got up to present, I was like, wow, I did think that was a great idea, and it was well made. So this looks like plexiglass and some duct tape, and what's inside? What was the fabrication process for the prototype itself?
Right, so this is just regular plexiglass. I made a wood frame. These buttons on top are just printed paper that has electrical tape around it that covers over nails.
Okay.
So if we look inside, and this back is just foam, it's been to China and back, so it's been abused quite a bit. But there's
oh wow, look at that.
duct tape that holds the kickstands on, and inside some wire porn. There's all kinds of wires that go from the Arduino microcontroller to this board, which does has Darlington transistor arrays
Sure.
that control the LEDs, and then we have all this wire going to each of the segments. This particular board took about 40 hours of soldering.
Do you ever have problems with shorts in there, or is it pretty solid at this point?
I do have problems with shorts, and part of that is due to my soldering, and part of it's due to the transit from here to China
Right.
and back, and it's just, it's a prototype. It's taken some abuse.
Sure. We'll try and get a picture. Is it all right to get a picture of it and maybe throw it up on the website?
Absolutely.
Great. So moving on, this is what you've come down to as part, kind of the culmination of the accelerator process?
Right.
Okay. And is it pretty much all the same stuff, or is it morphed and changed a lot?
It is almost entirely different in terms of how it's manufactured and what components are on it.
Okay.
So the original one had just a piece of the foam that holds all the LEDs.
Okay.
This version, it's entirely just one PCB. So, and it's all surface mount components. So that way it's easier to manufacture. There aren't any wiring harnesses. There's no separate process for making a pretty face. It's all just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've moved away from the Arduino, and now I'm using PIC microchips.
Okay.
And the LEDs are different. These are surface mount LEDs, but they're actually brighter than these other LEDs. So we can turn it on. And so as you can see, it's a lot brighter. We've also moved away from the arrows and moved towards dots because it allows for a shorter height. As you can
Right.
see, it's significantly smaller,
Right.
but I haven't made any compromise on the size of the digit.
So the idea is, if you're on the way to like your pickup baseball game, you can just throw this in your backpack, whereas this is a little bit
Exactly.
too large. Yeah,
My goal
so that's
has
a good
always
size.
been to be able to throw it in your backpack.
Okay. And I see the 6 control buttons on the top as well, but you mentioned that there are some other
Right.
alternate inputs as well.
Right, so this is where it really shines in terms of interactivity. So there's the buttons on top, there's remote control, there's Bluetooth. So I wrote an Android app, and I can connect to it, connect to device, portable scores, and it's connecting. There. And now I can just make changes to the score, or change mode, clock down, just a regular wall clock, one player, so this is just counting up, or counting down, 2 players, so all the same modes.
Sure.
It's nice, this version, it shows what mode you're in. The other version, it just went directly to that mode.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then I see that, since you've reached this point, you've even been riffing on your own product with expansion options. So you have some
Right.
Expansion controllers as well.
Yeah, so the idea is you don't want the scoreboard to interfere with the game. You
Right.
want it to add to the game and help you not argue over the score. So I wanted to create ways to add to the scoring without interfering with the game. And one of those is through these accessory switches. So with this accessory switch, you could mount it underneath the ping pong table and just put it under there. And now every time you press the button, it increments the score. So you're playing along, you score, you whack it under the table, and there you go.
Okay. Excellent. How does that interface with the board?
So the interface that I chose is just a stereo jack.
Oh, nice. Yeah, simple. You can get those at the hardware store.
Right, and the idea was that anyone could make their own switches to interface with whatever game they're playing.
Mm-hmm. Wow, excellent. This is really amazing. How much of your own time do you think went into the hardware upgrades since the prototype version?
Well, I've been doing all of the engineering myself, and
Okay.
I've been working on this full time since about January.
Okay, and it's middle of June right now. So,
Right.
wow, that's fantastic. Were you actually in production when you were spending your time in China as well?
We toured factories.
Okay.
I would say that the prototyping stage is not the right time to be in China because it's so much harder to do engineering there when you don't speak the language and you don't know where all the materials are. But the right time would be when you have your prototype ready and manufacturable and you just want to reduce costs and find someone who will produce 10,000 units for you.
Sure. I think when we were talking the other night, you said it's often difficult to find a manufacturer who will talk to you if you're not ready to do a 10,000 unit run.
Right. 1,000 units is about the lower limit.
Okay.
Of course, it depends on the cost of your unit too. Like if you're building a $2 part, then they want to see volumes of much higher. And if you're building a $150 or $500 part, then they don't need those really high volumes. They can get away with lower volumes.
Sure. Well, boy, this is just so fascinating to see something that really started off as a really fun project, and we hope the best for you that it'll turn into a great career and a industry leader in scoreboards and actually personal electronics. So thanks so much for sharing this with us today. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, it's not just about this company being successful. It's about people having access to it. And so I really want for everyone to be able to have a scoreboard that they can use to make their games feel more pro and classy. Like that's one of the things that people constantly say when I bring this to games is, ooh, we're going pro, or we're getting classy with this thing. And so I want to share that with people.
Great. So big thanks to Sector 67 where we're at today. They let us use their facilities. Are you a member of the sector? It's the Hackerspace in Madison. And actually, the prototype assembly, some of it happened here, is that right?
Right. We had a PCB assembly party a little over a week ago where we had about 10 members come and we all did surface mount. Some people had never done surface mount soldering before, but at the end of the night they were experts.
Yeah, great. So, it's really fun to see this happen. If you want to read a little bit more about it, I believe you have a website up. What is the web address for that?
Portablescores.com.
And of course, you can always go to Hackaday.com to see all of the interesting hobby electronics and even some hobby electronics that are more headed toward a professional end. I'm Mike Stish with Hackaday.com, and this is Bob Baddeley of PortableScores.com. Thank you.